This is fantastic. I am so excited. We're going to get this ball rolling. We got lots to cover. So let's get started.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Welcome to another episode of the Know Nothing Show.
We are super late today.
Oh my gosh.
Which is ironic.
It's extremely
considering
ironic.
the topic we're talking about, but it also fits.
That's true.
At the same time.
That's true. And we are going to dive into that. But first things first, in honor of our topic today, we thought we would get a red beer.
Which has nothing to do with the topic, but it just, we thought,
But it's the
why not?
same. It references the color, and that is where
Correct.
the similarities stop. Today we have an Irish red ale from Red Door.
So I never think about having a cigar with a beer, because you just typically don't.
Yeah.
I would have a cigar with this beer.
Interesting. It's like the closest thing to like a scotch
Kind
that
of,
you would
yeah.
get to.
Kind of.
Where you would want a cigar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Nice.
Very,
Nice.
very late in the evening around the fire pit type of beer.
Absolutely.
When someone's like, hey, do you want to do, I know it's late,
Absolutely.
you want to do a cigar? I'm like, yeah, but you need to do Red Door, pour Red Door.
Yeah, and you're right. You could actually have this in like a lounge, right? You would like have this like when you're sitting on a couch in a lounge. That is what you drink. Just
Irish red ale, 6% though, so
yeah,
a little bit higher up.
it's a little higher than
your
the norm.
regulars.
Yeah. The bitterness is actually more than I thought it was gonna be.
But I like that feeling.
hoppy bitterness. Yeah, I know
I
that.
like that.
Like I was mentioning, very similar to those local beer drinkers out there, similar to our 7K IPA.
Yeah.
So we have that sort of same flavor or feeling bitterness here. I'm not going to say flavor.
Ooh, I do like it.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
I can see why you're a casual beer drinker, it might be a little too much for them. Just because of the bitterness, I think your regular cash beer drinker is going to have an issue.
I agree. I agree. Like if someone was like, I'm not really a big beer drinker, you don't hand them this beer
no,
for sure.
Definitely not.
It actually smells good.
Yeah.
The aroma's fantastic. We get a lot of body on this thing. It's like really full. It's this
But
is
it's
an
easy to drink too.
overall
it's not heavy.
good beer.
Yeah.
I honestly, for me, I can't knock it honestly for really anything. This is a
good.
dang good beer. Good
Yeah.
job, Red Door.
All right.
If you don't mind a little bit of bite at the end of your beer, beautiful color,
Steak beer?
great aroma. Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to think of food.
Trying to
Yeah.
think, but you're right though. It's almost like it's almost you don't need to pair it with anything because it's almost that thing that you just drink on its own and enjoy.
Yeah.
So I actually really appreciate this thing. I don't know what makes beers Irish.
No, but hey, Red Door, let us know.
Yeah, let us know if someone would like to educate us on,
so we know, please.
on the style of brewing that classifies this as an Irish red ale. I would love to know because I also see a lot of people compare this to an amber, like it's similar to the amber style of beers.
Yeah.
Which I can see. Right, this is very similar to that amber style.
Very good though. I go 8.5 on this. I do an 8.5
right.
because I really enjoy it.
Dude, okay, listen to me. All right. I know people are not going to believe us when I say I wanted to say 8.5.
Oh, well, now you
So
have to
I
say
know.
something
Now I'm going to
different.
say, okay, so now I'm going to say.
No, say what it is. You got to say what it is.
It's really good.
You gotta
it's
say what it
really
is.
good. Like, this is something you appreciate, right? I mean, it's really good. This is an 8.5.
I'm drinking half the glass.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. We're not even done with the beer review.
Yeah.
You're almost all the way through it.
And we don't
It's
have
so
more,
good.
so like I have to.
I know. Just relax.
down.
We have a lot to cover
Cool.
today. Great job, Red Door. I
8.5.
have to give it an 8.5, guys. That is what it is. It's delicious. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Red Door. All right. On to the main and only topic of today.
The Flash.
Are you ready?
Ready. Let's go.
Lots to say.
Lots?
Too much to say, and it won't all get said.
It won't
just
all
say
get
that
said.
right now.
No.
It's not all gonna come out.
And that's okay because I don't want to beat a dead horse here either, right? I think there's a lot that's already been said that we don't need to bring up today.
Yeah.
Right? We've all said what we wanted to say up to the point. that we saw the movie. And so now we're going to move forward and talk about what we saw last night, which is the movie. Do you want to go first? Because I do feel like I have things to say, and I'm worried they're not going to be aligned with you.
They don't have to be.
Well, that's true.
Don't have to be at all.
That does not too. Because if you want me to go first, I will. But I just
because I'll go first because I think you'll be quite shocked. What I have to say. Because I've thought about it.
Yeah, me too.
About it all night.
Me too.
I watched what I had to watch. I scrolled through everything that I needed to scroll through.
Okay.
So I'm going first on this guy?
Yeah, the only thing I will tell you is I think I came out of the theater more hyped than I am right now. Just to kind of give you a little bit, a little taste of where I'm at currently.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and I think mine follows, it's similar. If you watch the Out of the Theater review, I think it's pretty similar to that.
Okay.
This movie is a fun movie. And there's a lot of action. There's a lot of laughs. Ezra Miller did a great job. Sasha Kaye did a great job. Michael Keaton did a great job.
Yes.
I love this movie. I had a great time with it for what it is. It's a movie about a superhero that goes through superhero things.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Review's over.
No, that's it for me. And I want to dive deeper, and I want to analyze, and I want to pick things apart, and I really want to, well, what is this, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It does in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Because it's a superhero movie and these characters existed and whatever. But for the movie being what it is, it's a standalone Flash movie.
Right. Which I appreciate.
That's all it is to me.
Yeah.
And I want to watch it again. And I want to buy the 4K copy, and I want to watch reviews on it. I liked a lot of the cameos and things that they had in it. I liked a lot of the humor. I liked the way they handled some of the CGI stuff, which, again, I researched into that. It is what it is for a reason, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's as hard as it is for me to not analyze and pick apart, I'm not going to.
Okay.
I'm not going to.
Interesting.
I loved the emotion behind it.
Okay.
Because I think when you're dealing with multiverse things, there has to be that emotional factor to it.
Yeah.
I love the fan service stuff, and that's fine. That's
big time fan service stuff.
That's what the multiverse is for.
Yes.
That's why it all came about.
But you're right. The multiverse gets really kind of crazy, right? And so the thing that grounds us through all the chaos is going to be the human emotion that is tied to it all.
Done really well. And I think it sucks that so many other movies and stuff, the multiverse is all around at the same time. Mm-hmm. So from a comic, the comic pages of a comic book, I feel the multiverse is so important no matter Marvel, DC, whatever it is. Yeah. It's a huge factor. And it's very, very, very important. Yeah. And I feel like the multiverse means nothing to anybody anymore.
Because
which I hate, because it's just done by everybody.
It was overdone.
We've had 5 multiverse things in the past.
Or it was so quick.
Months.
It was like a lot all at once.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So when I thought about other people doing multiverse things, I'm like, well, it doesn't hold its value or why the multiverse is important to the story.
Yeah.
So seeing the Flash as being, I'm guessing, the last. Well, no, there's other multiverse stuff coming up, but having already seen it by other people, like it's not as special to me anymore. The Flashpoint storyline or whatever changed everything dramatically.
You're right.
And that's not really what this movie is, but that was the general idea.
That was the idea. It was the same like foundation.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
It was the same foundation.
And they had the right idea with that, but that's not what this is, so I don't have that connection to it. Mostly it's a standalone movie. Yeah. But the multiverse stuff, it just didn't stick with me as much because I've seen things in the sky and other stuff.
Right,
so I'm like, I've already seen this before.
Yeah, someone changed the way it looked, but the concepts are the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, I enjoyed the heck out of this movie. It was really, really fun. I had a great time. Ezra Miller's performance was great. Ezra did a super, super good job.
So let me ask.
It's just I have to. The emotional thing that draws me to these movies. Late last night, I had to let that go. Mm-hmm. I had to disconnect myself from that. I will say this though: Sasha Kaye's Supergirl was by far my favorite part.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, you were saying that. But I knew it was going to be. I knew it was going to be. I knew she was going to do so good. And she did so good every single second she was on screen.
Her emotion was actually one of the things that I was tied to for quite a while.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it was like her anger that I was like, I just want to keep watching that. You don't even need to show me the other Flash stuff. Like, just keep it on her while she's going through this moment. And while she's fighting Zod. Like, I don't care if I just watch her beat the hell out of Zod.
That's why when they kept replaying it, I'm like, cool, I get to watch it.
Yeah.
So good. That's kind of where I'll leave it. When I came out of the theater, I wanted to care. I wanted all these things.
I wanted to be...
It's not there. And it's not the movie's fault. This is a personal thing.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I
loved them. I really, really enjoyed this movie. But I get emotionally invested in any movie I watch.
Yeah.
I think about it for days after I've seen it.
Yeah, before and after.
Exactly. So for this one, I'm like, I saw it. I can't wait to see it again. It's great.
Yeah.
But I have to move on from a lot of these things. But Sasha Kaya will never move on from.
She's just starting.
Never.
So let me ask you this though, with as far as like the multiverse stuff that you are kind of burnt out on, if this had just been like a linear storyline where he just goes back in time and messes up his own timeline, and it's more of just that linear timeline, not so much a multiverse, do you feel like you would have been more drawn to the storyline of this movie? If it wasn't probably. Like all these different universes existing at the same time.
Yes.
Just he's messing up his future. Like it's just that linear.
Correct.
Like on that line.
I would have liked that. But again, because of the history in the world and everything that led up to this movie, the why it was delayed, the why they cut this, why they cut that, why this was added, that was taken out.
But they like it. Like,
I understand what the movie is.
Yes.
But yes, I would have enjoyed it if it was just
like
Flash,
a linear, right? Yeah.
Like
like there's one point.
Now I came into the future, and this is not.
Yeah, but it's his future. Like Correct. It's just because there's one point where Bruce Wayne, dumps spaghetti into a bowl, right? And he's like, "This is,"
which is a phenomenal explanation.
I know. I was like, "Dang!"
How the multiverse?
I never understood the multiverse until right now.
Overcomplicate it. You don't need to do that. Just do. Hey, listen, right?
He's like,
we got this and these guys, and this is why. And I'm
yes.
Like, really?
And I was like, okay, fantastic. But you're right. But then he gives he's like, it's almost like a representation of kind of the mess that's going on in movies in general with all the multiverse stuff, right?
Yep, exactly.
And he also lays out like dry noodles, and you're like, oh, that's much simpler.
Yes.
Like this is a much easier thing.
You do this here, and it breaks off, and now you have two.
Yeah, and he even says like people think it's this, and it's actually this.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, but what you're saying is you'd be like, well, I almost wish it was the simpler version of this movie. All right. Yes. I'm tracking. I'm picking up what you're laying down.
I know, yes, and I know my explanation of this isn't the correct way. But had we done the review last night, it would have been something completely different.
Oh, yes. I agree.
Now that I sat on it, I got up this morning, I had coffee, I did this.
Yeah.
It's different than it would have been 12 hours ago.
And I told you that. I said, because there was a serious part of me that wanted to just knock out the review right away. But I really think it would have been unfair.
Yeah.
I think that you come out of that movie, and because of all the fan service and the cameos, you are just... You're happy, I think, for saying the wrong reasons is probably not the right way to say it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like an artificial, happiness, right?
It's just a high coming out of the movie.
Yeah. So you're not like
getting off the roller coaster. Like,
yeah,
oh man,
that was the greatest thing ever,
let's get back on and go again.
And then you're like, okay, now that I'm sitting with it, I feel like this is a much more fair review.
Yeah.
So
that's how I'm feeling. Sasha Kai, 10 out of 10. Ezra, really great.
Yeah.
Again, did some amazing stuff. I had a good time. I'm going back.
This movie
going back to the theater.
Yeah, it's like the greatest example of having a good time, right? And it is hard because we just got out of Across the Spider-Verse, and then we're going into this one, and they're almost the same movie except one is they're not the same story, but what I'm saying is that one is animated, one is live action, but they're dealing with multiverses and they're trying to change things, right? And so you're like, okay, and they're like both fan service movies. They're both like super fun. So you are sitting there like, yeah, I kind of like am going through this over and over again with all these different movies. We got the other Spider-Man movie before. I get you.
And
I
will
completely
say
understand.
This. Again, for me personally, have your own opinion, think your own way. I'm super over the fan service stuff.
Okay.
I just am.
Yeah.
If I want to watch something, I'll just pick up the DVD and just watch it.
Gotcha.
I don't need it in my current frame of movies and stories.
Yes, right.
It has its own frame of stories and characters and amazingness in whatever year it was.
Right.
And I like the fan service, but it's just too much all the time in every superhero movie, in this story, in Marvel, and DC, and I'm like, okay, now it's not special anymore.
Right.
Now when you see that on screen, you're like, okay, cool. That's great.
I think
the cameos are leaked. Everyone pulls everything
that does suck.
apart.
Yeah.
We already knew going in this, that, the other.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had no idea. Imagine if you went into a movie and you're like, oh, this movie's, oh my, what is he doing?
Yeah.
How did they pull that off?
But there are things that I didn't know that happened in this movie.
Yes, there is.
And there's a lot that did surprise me. However,
I'll let you go.
Hold on, because what you're saying I do think is true, because the fan service I think works one time.
Yes.
Right? It works the one time that you're sitting in the theater. And it's always a cool thing to see, but then beyond that, it doesn't help the movie anymore. It helps you that one time while you're sitting in the theater.
Yeah.
And you're going to go back and you're going to watch this movie again, but that fan service stuff is not going to be the thing that you're actually going back to watch it again for. You're going to go back and watch it again for Sasha Kaye and her portrayal of Supergirl. Or, I don't know if it's Supergirl, right? Now it's, I forget what her.
I mean,
whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what I mean. That's why you're going back to watch the movie. You're not going because you're like, oh, I want to see Nicolas Cage as Superman fighting a giant spider.
Whoa! Spoilers!
Full spoiler review, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, we'll put it up here.
Yeah. So I really agree with you. The fan service stuff is there. It gets you hyped while you're in the theater.
Yep.
Then your out of theater reviews are like, man, this is great.
Yep.
So all that buzz is like, but it's all artificial. It's fresh, but it's all artificial, right? Mm-hmm. You go back and you're like, oh, actually, it wasn't actually that part of it wasn't really a part of the movie or storyline, and therefore it's not really an important piece of the whole whole aspect. So I completely get it.
Cool.
All right, my review is again, like you said, fun movie, really fun time. When the beginning of this movie is amazing. The first 5 minutes, he's there in the coffee shop and he's ordering, right? When Bruce calls Barry and the Flash takes off, I got chills. I was like, this thing is incredible. The shot of him running was the best depiction of the Flash running I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And that was like worth the money right there. I was like, I am so happy they just did it correctly. And for that, I am happy I came to the movies.
Yeah.
Right.
Get up and walk out.
I know.
Like,
I'm done.
good.
Yeah. I was like, I can leave right now.
Yeah.
It does get silly very quickly though. And Ezra plays the silly, quirky stuff really, really well. Yeah. And I mentioned this a little bit before. I do not like him as Barry Allen though. And so anytime he was Barry, I didn't not when he's emotional with his mom. I do think the emotions that he has with his mom as a son does work very well. But whenever he's Barry Allen with Iris West, it does not work. Because he's not quirky anymore. Now he seems like the weird kid. Yeah. And it's not playing well with Iris. Like, why would Iris fall in love with that guy?
Yeah, because Barry's a goofy person.
Yeah, he's like a goofy, but in a... Like, he's not a weird person, though. Like, he's not like he's not supposed to be necessarily like an antisocial, weird individual. He's supposed to be like antisocial because I'm busy doing these other things, right? And so I felt like it made him seem like I don't like people, so don't talk to me, as opposed to like I don't have time for this conversation because I'm busy doing something else.
I'm late.
Yeah, I'm late for everything. And that's why I can't make friends. But they made it seem like, oh, I can't make friends because I don't know how to talk to people. Yeah. And that's where I was like, no, I don't like that stuff. But the Flash stuff, he did a phenomenal job. Yeah. I am not a big fan of the way he goes back in time. and when he's running in the bowl, and then he's kind of like reversing or that way, like when he knows he's in the right timeline, I get, or in the right place. Visually, like it didn't work for me. I didn't understand like how he was understanding where he was at, and like he's like seeing things and it's playing, and I get that.
It's like it was like a VHS tape.
Yeah, and it was sort of like but what is he seeing? Is he seeing like is all this the stuff that he has seen with his own eyes?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't a good explanation because he wasn't there when Supergirl was getting killed by Zod, but yet that was part of the timeline, right? And so I didn't understand how he was necessarily going like back and picking where he was going to end up and how he was going to get there, right? And maybe that stuff doesn't matter, but visually I didn't I don't think it was explained to us visually. And so he's like in the bowl, and I was like, nah.
It's strange.
Yeah, like I'm like, like
it was like a stadium.
Yeah, it was a stadium of his memories.
Yeah.
Right? He's in the middle, he's at the bottom, it's a stadium of his memories, and he's looking around and he's kind of seeing, okay, and it's almost like, okay, let me rewind it a little bit more.
Yeah.
He's like on a hamster wheel, he's just like rewinding it a little bit more, and then the images change. And I'm like, nah, you probably could have done that a little differently. I wasn't like a big fan of it.
That's always tough because there's so many different ways you could do going back in time and watching yourself live your life.
Yeah.
But there's another way they could have done it.
There's another way that you can decide, like, okay, I'm gonna go back in time and figure out how to land. Like he has like I understand that we could pick this apart all day.
Yeah.
I understand what they were doing. I'm just saying visually for me, I wasn't a big fan of it. But the action sequences in this movie are incredible.
Yeah.
As soon as
from the start.
From the jump.
Like starting out, it goes into action.
Yeah. And it's it's fantastic.
Which is so good because
I know.
Why do we have to wait for the third act for everything to happen?
No, exactly.
I'm here at a superhero movie. I want to see stuff get blown up. Like, start this. Let's go.
Yes, yeah.
And they did that, and I really liked that.
Me too. And as soon as Batman comes into play, I feel like it was just nonstop, right? The funny stuff between both Barrys, I did think really worked, and I was actually really worried. And man, some of that face swapping was done seamlessly, though.
I don't think there might have been a moment or two, and I'm like, eesh. But I think
there was some
99% of the movie. It looked
in the
great.
Action sequences. There were times where you could see they kind of messed up, but in the normal, like when they're in a room talking, and like it looks so good. They did such a good job.
And it'll be funny in film in general how much we see that going forward.
Right.
Because you're gonna see it a lot.
Yeah.
You're gonna see it a lot.
You're gonna see it.
Things. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, they did it. They did a great job. We saw a little bit of it. I was like, man, this is like the Social Network good. Yeah. Like, yeah, right. Yeah. Like this is like really good.
Yeah.
And so maybe they just perfected it because
I'm excited.
Other than the action sequences, like I'm saying, like the time that they do the face, the face copy, it was done really well. And the conversations back and forth between them were done really, really well, which for Ezra was probably a blast to do both of those roles, right? Like that sounds like such a good time.
Yeah.
So I had a really good time with that. I agree with you. Sasha Kaye just completely steals the show once she comes into the movie. I think she did a great job. Her anger, I was just so happy with it, the way it was portrayed.
Because I was so curious how they were gonna handle Kal-El being like, what are they gonna say? Like, where is he? Like, what's happening in this? And then
Zod was like, nah, man, that baby's dead.
Killed him. Gone.
And then she just...
Because again, her
unleashes.
Her sole purpose of being here was...
It was to protect. It was to protect Kal-El.
That was it. And then to know, like, oh, cool, I have no reason to be here. Believe it all in the court.
Yes.
And she goes in, and it's great.
Can I also say that I also appreciate that Barry goes back, changes something, right? And then he creates this timeline or world, whatever you want to call it, and that world is destined to be destroyed. No matter what he does, no matter how he does it, it is destined.
That's why multiverse stuff is so exciting and it's so important because, like, It's hard, and maybe I'm very different because I grew up like loving this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's so hard not to think of how you would handle situations like that. Like, what would you like? And Barry makes the right call.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
that's controversial.
Yeah.
He made the right call in the end.
Yes. Not picking his mom
Like,
to
you
be
have
alive.
to
Yeah.
just.
He has to
can't
let
be
her go.
selfish here.
Yeah. Because
And again,
your decision's literally destroying the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love multiverse stuff. I
So
do.
the only thing is, and I wanted to get your opinion was, what did you think about him saving his dad? So he can't save his mom.
Yeah.
And then even in that moment when he's like, I can't save my mom, and my mom destroyed the world. Me trying to save her destroys the world.
Yeah.
What if I try to save my dad? It's like literally 2 minutes later.
Yeah, we never know what we would do in these situations.
He's like, I just screwed up so bad.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to go to the next aisle. I'm going to try it again. I'm going to see what happens.
It's wild. I mean, I think that I knew something was going to change. The movie was not going to end in the same world that it began in. And that's fine.
Yeah.
You dig deep. Well, where did this person go? What does this mean? They left it in a place where we don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. Don't analyze. Like, you don't know where it is. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They left it where we can bring stuff back. Is Ben Affleck's Batman out there? Yes, he is. He's in another world. He's in another. You could do anything you. That's the point.
Right.
That's the point of the multiverse in films.
I think, right. Yeah.
Is to make sure nobody's ever dead. Nobody's ever gone forever.
Correct.
Wonder Woman, like, we could do anything we
you
want.
can always go back.
And that's totally fine.
That is true. It's a good point.
The point of him saving his dad, I mean, I knew he was going to do some nonsense like that. I knew he was going to do some nonsense. So I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
Because he did that, we got George Clooney.
George Clooney at the
George
end.
Clooney, man.
What?
I was not expecting George Clooney.
Me either.
Boy, was I happy.
I was so happy.
Because I think we all thought it was going to be Christian Bale at some point.
Yeah, we did.
The Christopher Reeve stuff, I was like, oh, man, that
Dude, it got me.
stuff was like, holy
when I saw Christopher Reeve, and I was worried they were just going to do that quick shot, but then they cut to him again.
Yeah.
And I'm
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man, it got me.
It got me. The first Superman movie I ever watched.
Yeah.
My dad made me watch it so many times.
Was fantastic.
It was so great.
Loved it.
But when Clooney showed up, I was like, whoa, let's go, bro. And it was the right amount of time. He wasn't on screen too long.
Yeah.
He didn't overstay his welcome.
Yep.
He showed up in the same car.
Yeah.
Barry drops the perfect F-bomb right at that time. It was good. It was a good cameo. It was very, very good.
That was very well
done.
done.
And again, it ended in a good spot. You can and that's why I do kind of like it, because you can speculate, you can say, you can guess, you could say 100 things. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't really know if it's true or not. Well, I read in this interview. Doesn't matter, bro.
Yeah, you have no idea.
We've learned anything from this Flash movie situation, everything going on,
right?
Warner, Discover, everything that's happened. You don't know where we're going to be at in a year. We have no idea.
We have no idea.
And I'm excited for what's next in DC.
Me too.
I am excited for James Gunn. I get super nervous with a lot of things. Again, this is all just personal stuff. I hope all of it's done really well.
Yeah, me too.
I hope it's done to the degree that, hey, we need to start respecting these characters again.
Yeah.
Not that we just got to throw them on. We need to make money, so throw the big guys, throw Superman on screen, throw Batman. We got to make money. We got to get people in the theater.
Let's make some good movies.
I understand that. I get how production.
Well, it's a
company
business.
Works. That's what you want.
Sure.
You're trying to make billions of dollars on movies. That's what you're doing.
And you have to if you're going to keep making them.
Exactly.
Right. So.
But I hope James Gunn comes in. He's like, hey, I truly care about these characters.
Yeah.
I want people to fall in love with these characters again.
Yeah.
And not just like, dude, we just got to get Superman on screen. Like, do it so we can be like,
right.
wow, I forgot how amazing Superman is.
Yeah. Make us fall in love with the
characters. I don't know who's going to be cast again. Whole other spaghetti bowl
exactly.
of situations. But like, make the world remember why Superman is the greatest superhero of all time.
I hope so.
Remind
the
world of that, James Gunn. If you're watching, James Gunn, I know you are.
I know. We
but
do.
Call me after this.
For those that
let me know.
I was telling you a little bit, but I was watching Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You, and for those that do want to get more information on the James Gunn thing, I think it's an excellent interview. Michael Rosenbaum interviewing James Gunn about the future of DC, and it's a really great listen. Highly recommend it. Go check it out, because that one was kind of gave me a little more perspective on the situation. Yeah, which I appreciated that this interview even exists in the first place, even if it's just even if it was just because they were friends and they wanted to get together and chat. I still felt like as a fan we benefited from it. Yeah, and it was a good listen. So after you watch this, go listen to that. Great interview.
I'm excited.
Me too. Can't wait.
I'm super hyped.
I cannot wait. Excited for the future of DC.
I will never not love superheroes.
Oh yeah.
I don't care what.
Same here.
What company is on the cover of your comic? Like I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm always gonna. I'll buy
greatest
the
thing in the
t-shirts,
world.
I'll buy whatever. I'm always gonna be a fan.
I could not agree more, sir.
I am hyped.
So the next movie that we have, though, I'm actually not sure how quickly we're going to get to another episode here, but I don't think we have any superhero stuff coming up soon.
Transformers was just okay.
Okay. Just so everyone knows. Yeah. Just in case anyone wants to know.
Fine.
Yeah. It was
apparently
it was
a good
great.
Enough time.
It was apparently not the best.
If you like giant robots fighting, you'll like this movie. That's about it.
But we do have some awesome things coming up in the future. We have Oppenheimer, and then we have a little surprise for everybody. Don't want to give too many things away, but we have some amazing things going on at the end of July that I am extremely excited for.
Interesting.
So if anybody wants to find out,
should I pull up another chair here?
Yeah.
What should I do?
A little. Yeah. Maybe there'll be another microphone at this table.
Okay.
We don't know.
Good to know.
We'll see. But subscribe, like, ring the bell so that you can be the first to find out.
I love getting comments from people, good, bad, whatever it is. I love you guys interacting. It's super, super fun.
All of it.
We always let us know what you thought about The Flash. Let us know what movie you're most excited for upcoming this summer. Just let us know. Let's talk. Let's chat.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Later.